What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 273 of The Ball is Round. I'm Andy Coronado, and as always, I am joined by my boys, Elias Gregoriadis and Hadi Rafael. How are we doing, guys? Don't get mad, Andy. Don't get mad, Andy. Don't get mad, Andy. Don't get mad, Andy.
No Montreal teams lost this week.
Yes!
Barcelona preseason is underway.
Oh, man.
Life is
It's
good.
Exciting times. It's
I can't
exciting
complain.
times. And we have plenty of news. We have plenty of things. Hadi, how's your weekend? What'd you do?
It was nice. Honestly, I was camping at
Ooh.
Oka with my family, so my son and my wife and friends. So it was really, really nice. I wasn't at Satsupuro this Saturday, but it was a lot of fun to just go to the beach, to the lake, and just have fun. Relaxing, amazing, and everything.
Awesome, man. Yo, guys, this weekend I've spent it watching every episode of this show called The Roman Empire. No, I got the title wrong.
What's it
Anyways,
about?
it's about the history of the Roman Empire.
Are you sure? Are you sure you watched that series?
Definitely got the title wrong. I definitely got the title. Dude, but it is such an interesting show about the history of the fall of the Roman Empire. And I find it so interesting. And then I'm trying to tell everybody how interesting, when I say everybody around me, my wife, my cousins, all that, about everything I learned. And they literally look at me like,
We don't care.
who cares? I'm like, but guys, it's so cool. They're like, yeah. You know, it's like, all right, well, moving on. Okay. You guys got nothing interesting. Elias, did you go? Hey, JFL Montreal. Thank you so much for joining us. No. Elias, did you go to Oshiaga?
No, I don't. The lineup was actually pretty decent, but I didn't go this year because I just didn't. Didn't.
Last time I went,
Because
last time I went to Red Hot Chili Peppers were performing. This must have been like 7 years ago now. But my God, it's a really good event. I personally like it. I think they always book such good artists, and I think it's. But I will say this. I don't know if any of you guys feel this way. Thank you, P Dubs is joining us tonight as well. I also do feel like, for me, since I've been living in Canada, in Montreal, Oshiaga always signals the end of summer for me.
Come on, man!
Is the big event that's like, okay,
That's a stupid take, man.
Okay. Anyways, moving on.
Because everybody's telling me it's the end of the summer. It's like beginning of August. You still have August, September, where it's literally summer. So you have 2 months left. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, Andy. Shame on you.
Shame on you.
That was my take, guys. I'm just trying to have some fun here.
Okay, I hate it.
Unacceptable.
All right, guys, we got a very special episode lined up for y'all tonight because it is our episode of the mid-season review for all Montreal clubs, CF Montreal, Rose FC, and FC Supra de Quebec. We'll dive into the biggest storylines, surprises, and disappointments of what each club needs to do as the playoff push begins. Some of these teams might not recognize what the word playoff means anymore. But all that and more. But before we get started, if you're enjoying The Ball is Round, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. It really helps support the channel. Then let us know your thoughts in the comment section. We want to hear your take. What you think of what happened this weekend, any events, any suggestions that you might have, somewhere where Hadi can maybe go camping, somewhere where Elias can go dance. I don't know. Just give us suggestions in the comment section. And let's get right into it. First things first, though, before we start our mid-season review, guys, big news today. Where the MLS announced, they announced some breaking news that the MLS will have a new commissioner. It will be Larry Berg. I almost said Larry Bird. Larry Berg will be the new MLS commissioner once Don Garber's remarkable. I don't know if we use Can we use the word remarkable? I don't know what word to use, but his 27 years as commissioner is coming to the end at the end of this year. Maybe give us your thoughts, guys. Elias, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on that Don Garber's tenure is finishing as MLS commissioner? What do you think he leaves how do you think he leaves the MLS? In what state? Are you excited? So tell us a little bit.
First off, good evening, Robbie. Nice to see you. And JF says that Andy's wrong about Oshiaga, which to
I'll
no
take it.
Andy's wrong again. But no, look, Don Garber Don Garber left a lot of good and left a lot of bad. Because you can take into account all the important stuff that he helped bring forward. He helped expand the league. He helped expand the league's image and its notoriety, especially overseas. It went from a retirement league to a league that is only a semi-retirement league. And at least in the eyes of European fans and people who, or even American fans, North American fans who only follow European soccer, right? And they kind of look down on MLS. The level of the league has increased significantly under his tenure, but you also have to take into account, the good with the bad. And the bad is stuff like the Leagues Cup, which is just dumb, respectfully.
Shame.
You have to take a look at MLS's gradual withdrawal from the US Open Cup, which is the longest active club competition in North America. Stuff like this where, fewer and fewer MLS teams are either participating or taken seriously. At one point, they threatened to just have reserve teams, which kind of defeats the purpose of being a club tournament. So yeah, it's the Americanization a little bit of the sport, which I understand given that they are operating for the most part in America. But, you can only Americanize the sport so much before you stop recognizing it. And so I think there has to be some kind of compromise met. So I think Don Garber did some good. He did some bad. But all in all, he will be remembered as a commissioner.
But that's pretty interesting because I think something that a lot of players, coaches in the past, one of the things that they've said about, I'll say the city of Montreal, not the club, but the city of Montreal is how close it is to being a European city, right? A very European city. But when we talk about soccer in Montreal, we're talking about the MLS, which, as Elias mentioned, is very Americanized, which is kind of ironic. But a lot of Europeans like coming to Montreal to play for CF Montreal and also enjoy the city of Montreal. Heading into MLS 3.0, because that's what they're labeling it now, how do you think Don Garber handled MLS 1.0 and MLS 2.0 heading into MLS 3.0? How is he leaving this league?
Listen, as Elias said, some good and some bad. I'm going to focus on the good because I see that Elias focused on the bad. The good was it was hard to have an established league in North America. We know how many times it failed, right? It failed with the NASL. It failed with the UPSL. It failed, and I'm not going to count them all because there's a lot of leagues that they have started and will be here forever. And you know what? He managed to do that. He managed to do that because, he started it was in 1999 that he became the commissioner, right? So, the league started in 1996, but 1999, he was the one that was able to establish it as a league that's viable. And he made sure that the league went from 10 clubs to 30 clubs. Let's not call them clubs. Let's call them franchises. But from 10 franchises to 30 franchises. So there was a lot of growth. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, you know what, yeah, it's a Ponzi scheme just because, that's exactly what people are saying because the price of the franchise is the reason why the MLS was able to be established. But at the same time, as Elias said, there's a lot of interest that has grown throughout the years, and that's to the to the merit of someone like Don Garber and of course his whole team. At the same time, you look at MLS, he was still able to bring one of the best players of all time. I'm not going to say the best player of all time, but one of the best players of all time with Lionel Messi. He was able to bring David Beckham. He was able to bring, some very, very big names. Yes, of course, at the end of the career, but they still chose to be here. They didn't go to the Arab countries. They didn't go to China because at one point China was really taking a lot of European players that went and finished their careers there. At one point there was India too. It didn't work at all for them. But they were able to beat all these guys and to establish themselves. At the same time, there's a lot of money that was invested through the MLS to the academies. Right now, the MLS, it's not only clubs like you see in Saudi Arabia. And I'm never going to criticize Saudi Arabia because, oh, yeah, they attract people and then they don't pay them. I know the Saudi Arabian league. I know it very well. The academy system there is non-existent. You look at the academy system here, and that's a lot better than what you see in those exotic leagues. And you look at the World Cup right now, and you were the sixth league in the world with the most active players in the 2026 World Cup, behind the top 5 European league. We were the sixth with active players. So at one point you look at that and it's impossible not to praise Don Garber for his work. He made it happen. Now, of course, a lot of things are not happening. A lot of things are going wrong. A lot of things have not been developed properly. And I completely agree. But everything cannot be positive in any tenure. But if you look at it as a whole, he was able to establish a league that's viable and a league that's growing. And this is what the MLS is right now. Now, I can't wait to see the next chapter, and I hope that this is the next subject that you have for us, Andy.
I definitely don't. But Robbie that tells us he did a decent job, should have gotten rid of Tam, Cam, and the rest of the AMS.
But that's the next step. That's the next step.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of want to talk about, because Larry Berg, I don't know much about him. I haven't studied him. I'm sure he has his own history, and people definitely have a lot of opinions about him. But what I will say about Don Garber is that I think Don Garber did what he had to do in an important period for the MLS, where they were, as you mentioned, expanding, growing. But now you're no longer necessarily expanding, growing. You're starting to take that next step, as you mentioned, where you start bringing players like Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, at some point Didier Drogba. You've brought on Robert Lewandowski. I mean, what are we talking about, guys, right now? There's a lot of players that are coming to the MLS, and they all come to the United States or Canada, like Thomas Mueller, seeing the US as a bigger country. So when Don Garber made this league, he made it the more Americanized way he could, because that's what the players expect when they come to the US. Because when you go to Europe, how do you know this, Elias? You know this. When you go to Europe and you say, I'm from Canada or I'm from the US, whatever, they're like, oh, la bala, c'est show, right? It's like they see us as a different country. So what Don Garber tried to do with the MLS was make it as Americanized as it can, in order to, I guess, in a sense, have the players experience something different than they had in Europe. This is why it became a retirement league. It became, a lot of the players came here just to have kicks and fun, while they continue playing soccer. But I think now, especially after Lionel Messi's arrival, the league has taken a complete different twist, a complete different change. And I don't know if Don Garber is necessarily ready to make that evolution. We'll never know, because he's going to leave at the end of the year.
But there was, sorry to cut you off, but there was a plan. I've read quite a few articles lately about Don Garber being questioned at the beginning of the year before the World Cup. And his answer was like, now we're ready to take more risks, and we have to make sure that we invest more. So he was setting the table for a different model in roster building. And if you look at the announcement of the MLS today, at the nomination of Berg, it's clearly written that he's going to work on the structure of the rosters. So this is the next evolution. This is where MLS needs to grow. Now, will all the owners accept to do that? And what will the MLS do for the owners that don't want to do that? And wink, wink, let's talk about a franchise that we all know here that hasn't spent much and I see already so many comments from people here. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the future, because the MLS 3.0 is going to be another evolution towards getting bigger and bigger. The objective of the league is to be the number one league in the world.
Amongst the tops, not the number one. Amongst
the
the
number
top.
one, like in 10 years.
On se calme. It's
That's what they want.
But no.
That's what they want.
Look, we are going to transition to talk about CF Montreal mid-year review, but because I love JFL's comments of all these players, and we have Rio starting, it's a big deal. But the thing I do want to finish with this, okay? Because and Edgar also says hi to you guys. Please,
hey, Edgar,
in the comment section, make sure to interact with us. Give us your feedback, positive, negative. If you agree or disagree or don't care, just comment, whatever.
Edgar from Los Angeles, man. People hearing, listening to us from everywhere in North America. So,
but it's definitely like I think there's big plans for the MLS, because that's what Don Garber started. He built a car, and now they're on they need a person that will transform that car into a Tesla, into the latest vehicle.
Let's not get.
Let's not go into everything.
Let's not go into that.
But no, they have to convert it into an engine or something, whatever you want, that takes that attracts players of higher quality, and not just necessarily MLS Academy players, but European youngsters that want to develop here in the US, not just because they love the lifestyle, but because they also want to actually develop here and grow and believe that they can grow and make a career out of MLS. When was the last time a youngster from Europe came to the MLS and said, I want to make a career out of being in this league?
Never.
Exactly. And that's the goal. You want them to look at the MLS as a league that they can make a career out of it. And that's where the next person, Larry Berg, will need to actually take the proper steps so that this league is taken seriously all over the world. But let's go ahead and move on, because we do have a big show with the mid-year, with the mid-season review. And we'll start with CF Montreal. Okay? Guys, usually every show we do the X's and O's, favorite player, top player, maybe player that underperformed. This time around, for the three teams, for Roses FC, for CF Montreal, and for FC Supra de Quebec, we'll do maybe a quick review of the game, but then we'll talk about the season overall, okay? So for CF Montreal, they had their game against New England Revolution on Saturday that ended on a 2-2 draw, where CF Montreal came back from being 2-0. Just give us a quick take. Elias, what did you think of the game? You were at Stade Saputo. What did you think?
The first half, and Philippe Lafroy agreed with me. It was Simon Servan who asked the question. The worst half of the season. Shocking, genuinely.
Since he became manager.
To be fair, I don't think that it's up there with the earlier season as well. Let's be honest.
Really?
I mean, that's pretty shit, man. But either way, I think it's the worst 45 of the season, especially given that this team is supposedly doing better, and they brought more reinforcements than what they had at the beginning of the season, and some players at their disposal. Just genuinely just horrible. And the second half was, I feel like the second half was overshadowed by the fact that they had a fantastic 10 minutes. They could have lost that game. They should have lost that game, if not for Sébastien Brezin, who, again, has been playing out of his mind and has honestly, both in front of goal, but also, in front of the media, has matured incredibly. He went from, with all due respect, my least favorite player to speak to after a game or in a media availability when I first started, to a fantastic answer of questions. He gives great, thoughtful answers. He carries himself well. He represents the club well. I think it's also due to the fact that he's settled here. When he first started at the club, he was, is he going overseas? He ended up in City C. His future was kind of uncertain. I think that kind of reflected. But now he's in Montreal. He's here. He's here to stay, and he's become someone who's much more at peace with himself, I find. And the answers and the way he interacts reflects that.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off, Elias. Hattie, what's the first thing Elias texted us after the press conference?
I don't remember.
I want Brez on the
I don't
show.
remember either.
I want Brez on the show.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
You
want
said
Brez
that.
on the show.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true. That's true.
JF saying Breza saved the season for me. I mean, he saved the game for sure.
Yeah.
But without the crash out, I think we're looking at a 5. I think honestly, him going up to Dor Turjuman and kind of giving a piece of his mind definitely steered CF Montreal in the right direction and kind of maybe lit a fire.
That was a
under us
hockey
because
move, man. That was a
It was
hockey move.
fantastic. It was fantastic.
That was a hockey move. You know, fight. You know.
You know what? To me, this game, for the past at least 3-4 months, it's just felt like play and repeat. They start out slow. The other team scores 3 goals, 2 goals, whatever you want. Montreal fights till the last minute to get a draw, sometimes a win. But it's just been rinse and repeat. The games over and over again. It's not necessarily the players' faults. I don't think so. I just think there's too many missing pieces. I said it last week and I'll say it again. It's an incomplete squad that is competing out there. There is way too many gaps in talent in every position. I said it, I tweeted out. I said there is talent and there is experience, but there is no talented experience on that field that is going to be the difference maker. You can talk about Fabian Herbers and his experience. I thought he was great as a substitute, but he's not going to be the one that's going to get you that winning goal or that winning assist to make a difference in the game. So it's an incomplete squad. And I think, in my opinion, Philippe Lafroy is doing the best he can with the hand he's dealt. But right now, there's a big gap. And teams like New England Revolution, we talked about the Miami game, how, well, we didn't talk about it. We didn't have a show last week, but we talked about how important it was that, they were so close. They were so close to winning, but yet they couldn't. And it keeps being that. We're so close to winning, but we don't. So that's what I think. This game was just, to me, a rinse and repeat. Hattie, did you just want to give 2 seconds of what you thought of the CF game?
Oh, yeah. You see, he's limiting me now,
Okay,
2 seconds
2 minutes
and everything.
minutes.
He talks for 10 minutes, and he's like, you have 2 seconds. Okay. Hey, Sam, by the way, Sam Savvy here. For people that have been following the show here on The Ball Is Round, he's been one of the podcasters on the show for a long time. But to go back on the game, honestly, I have a couple of things to add. First of all, I feel that this time around, at least the team found a way to find the back of the net. I understand that they needed a miracle, but at least they got the miracle in Brian Vera. And, I can't believe that we didn't talk about that goal, because I think this is one of the best goals I've seen from CF Montreal since I started watching them. This goal was, oh my God. It's between, it's one of the best goals. It's in my top 5.
He caught everybody by surprise. Everyone.
At Olympic Stadium.
Man, yeah, because the goalkeeper sucked at the Olympic Stadium, man.
Matt Turner was late, Still an incredible goal. Still a perfect shot.
But dude, he was lobbed at the Olympic Stadium on the goal of Safir Taider. He was lobbed.
Man.
He was lobbed. And I know. It was a great goal. But, for me, the Brian Vera was a lot better. Really, but that's the first thing. The second thing that I wanted to do, the second thing that I wanted to say also about that game, not only we needed the miracle, but we needed also to be serious after we scored the miracle goal. And we were. And Luca Petrasso did a great cross. That's something that we haven't seen a lot from him. A great cross from Luca Petrasso on the header of Prince Owusu to score that 7th goal. And that's something that I haven't seen from CF Montreal since the beginning of the season. So in a way, I do see progression. In that game, I saw progression. But I agree with everything that Andy said, and we'll talk about it in the mid-review. We are missing quality. A lot of quality. We're a subpar team in a league that's growing. And we'll talk about it a bit later. But at least under Philippe Lafroy, you feel that the structure around that team makes sense. There's a structure. And you look at the last 4 games, the draw against Toronto, the loss against Miami, the loss against Nashville, and the game against New England. For me, those 4 games are exactly the same, where you have a team that's developing something, progressing somewhere, going somewhere, structure-wise, and in the way they approach a game, but at the same time, need that extra bit of quality to go and win those games, or even get a point sometimes. If we had gotten a win against Toronto and a draw against Miami and Nashville, and a win against New England, we wouldn't have all that discussion right now.
And a win against this, and a win against that,
I'm
and a win
talking about
against
the last
this.
4 games. No, I'm talking since the World Cup break, man. It's
okay,
yeah.
but Adi, I agree with you, because those 4 points put them like a point away from the playoffs, or 2 points away from the playoffs. But at no point in any of those 4 games did I look at CF and go, "Oh, this team should have won that game."
No, exactly, because they don't have the quality.
So I can't say
agree with
if
you
I
100%.
can't confidently say if they had done this or if they had done that. If implies that they should have.
If I
no
had an
point.
elite winger, if I had an elite midfielder.
Okay, compare the first half against New England and the other 4 games. I'm sorry, but the first half against New England, for me, that was Donadell's team. Well, you used to watch the game. I think you guys forgot what it was under Donadell. We used to watch the whole game.
I will never forget.
But it seems that you did, because we watched the whole game and we were like, oh my God, like this team is going nowhere. Like you can bring them Drogba, Di Vaio, Bernier, whoever you want, Lloris, Bouanga, and they would suck.
What's your
like
point?
Royally suck under Donadell. But now at least you're looking at something and you're like, what if? What if? At least you have that. Right?
I feel like that's even unhealthier,
It is. I'm not saying it's healthier. I'm saying that at least we're on the right path.
At least we're in agreement.
Guys, let's get to this review, man, because this year, let's do it. I didn't even plan this. Describe this midseason in 1 word.
Oh.
Okay, first let me say the facts of CF Montreal as it stands right now. CF Montreal are currently 14th in the Eastern Conference after 18 MLS games with 4 wins, 10 losses, and 4 draws with 16 points. They've scored 24 goals. They've conceded 35. The goal difference is -11, and they've had 4 clean sheets. So I'm going to ask you guys to grade the season, but I want you to describe it in 1 word. What the first half of the season, and I know the word you guys want to use, but let's be a little bit creative. What's the word we could use to describe 1 word to describe the first half of the season? I'll say mine.
I before we say 1 word, just credit to Mathias Van Halst, who used to do that in podcast Coup Franc. So
shout out.
Rest in peace.
Shout out. All right. So my word would be confusing.
I'm going to be way worse than that. I would say shameful.
Okay. Fair. Elias, 1 word?
Dishonorable.
Yeah.
I'm confused. All right. So, as I said earlier,
When are you
we're
not
going to do
confused,
nice,
Andy?
You're too nice.
When are you?
You're
When
too
is this
nice.
guy not confused? Hope from JF must be nice.
Okay, JF, you have right now. I want to read the reason why you said hope, please.
No.
I just want to read it. I just want to read it. So take your time to explain. Take your time to explain why you said hope.
By the way, guys, just a quick reminder to those commenting: we are talking about CF Montreal, not Roses FC. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start.
Sam said beige. We have P-Dub said boring. So yeah.
Deja vu.
For David Weiss, LP Habs fan.
Yeah. So we'll give our grades, right? What grade would you give CF Montreal so far in this 2026 campaign? F
When I get to
being
explain,
unacceptable and A being outstanding. All right, so how
Do
do
we
you
do it? Do we do a plus and minuses too?
No, fuck that. You're gonna
No?
confuse. No,
Okay.
just give me a grade, Hadi.
Honestly, I'm at F. I like for me.
Okay,
There's
so
like,
you,
yeah,
and I'm not saying you're wrong. Okay, to you, CF Montreal deserves an F grade
yeah,
for their first half of the season, meaning
100%.
unacceptable first half.
Yes.
Okay, justify.
Oh,
David West
I'm
is
not
okay.
right now. Yeah, I'll justify F because I don't understand why you started the season with Marco Donadel, knowing what you knew at the end of the 2025 season. And guys, I wasn't back on the show back then, and I would still remind you what I said on WhatsApp when they were renewed, when he was renewed, and I told them, I told you guys, I do not get it. This guy had more than 10 games left in the season to prove himself, and he didn't prove shit. So that's the first thing. F for that. Second thing, you bring players that are bad. Like, you do have a couple of good players. I would say Owusu is a good player. You have Petrasso, that's a good player. You have a couple of good players. Brian Vera is a good player. But at the same time, you need a lot more than 3 or 4 or 5 good players.
Well, every team has good players, Hadi. Every team has good players.
But I'm saying we don't have enough.
Is it about enough, or is it about having good?
No.
Excellent.
Let me finish.
Sorry.
We don't have enough good players, and we have no outstanding players. And in order to compete at MLS level, you need good players and at least 1 or 2 outstanding players. We don't even have enough good players. So for me, that's an F. It's an F in roster building. It's an F in the way they chose their coach, their first coach. It's an F in the way they're dealing with everything. And I'm not going to go into detail. But there's a lot of things that are wrong with this team. The way they deal with a lot of things within the club and with the people around the club. This is not normal. You're a team, okay, you don't have a lot of budget. I understand that. But with the budget that you have, you can do a lot better than what you're doing. A lot better.
Okay.
So this is why how I'm justifying the F.
Hadi, I wish we could do like in the TV shows where you do a stamp of an F, because I would choose the same thing. I choose an F, but I go beyond your reasons, Hadi, because you're absolutely right. You listed very well all the reasons, but I'll go a little bit beyond that, because I did say I was confused, right? What happened with Ivan Jaime? What happened with Frankie Amaya? Whatever happened to again, I kind of laughed about it here on the show. What kind of announcement did they do for Thomas Aviles? Like, it's just, there are so many things. And again, to me, you mentioned about Marco Donadel starting the year. To me, it's more confusing as to what are they doing with Philippe Lafroy? Not saying that he's a bad coach or that he's not the coach for this team, but it is so confusing as to what he's supposed to do there. A year ago, I don't know if to date, I think maybe to date 2 weeks ago, Elias, I think you're a little better date to me than me, but when they released the letter to the fans, has there been any progress since?
No.
I'm not even talking about the field stuff. The field, we already discussed it. Outside,
it's better on the field because we have a coach that knows what he's doing. But like outside, we regressed. We were worse than what we were a year ago.
We got rid of Corey Ray. We got rid of the whole coaching staff. Great. But again, I have no idea who this team is, what they want to do, what's their style of play, I just don't get it. I don't understand. You sign Frankie Amaya alone, never use them except for Canadian Championship. You signed Thomas Aviles, then now we're on a loan. bring him right back to the team. Like, what the fuck is happening right now with the scouting department? What are we doing? What are the players being told, and then they're being sent back to their team or not being used at all? Mahalo Poku Sanusi Ibrahim, what a joke handling that case. So, anyways, that's my grade. Confused and a letter F so far. Elias, I'm sorry, we've gone on. Go ahead. Your grade and justify.
I'm going to give them a grade of D because they don't deserve an F. That's not a compliment. It also bleeds into why my season 1 word was dishonorable, because when you look at the letter and when you look at what the letter promises, technically they did what they said they would do. But the reason I say it's dishonorable is because you take us for some fucking idiots. Because yes, in a vacuum, this team right now is better than last year's team. 100%. If you take into account the players that are injured, if you include Dango Torhausen, who just left, you include Dani Pereira, you include Brian Ceballos, technically, this team is better than last season. But that's not my problem. Everybody in MLS gets better. You've improved by 1% and every other team improves by 5%. That is the step back you've taken. Yes, Hadi. Yes, this team would destroy last year's team. That's not even a debate. Regardless of coach, this team would destroy last year's team. They would murder last year's team. You take last year's starting 11 against the starting 11 that just ended right now, 100% they killed them. Everyone healthy, 100%. I don't have a doubt in my mind. The problem is, and this is why it's dishonorable, is because you're doing just enough to say that you're doing what you said you did without doing anything concrete. We're going to sign players. Dani Pereira and Brian Ceballos are fantastic acquisitions.
Yes.
That reinforce the squad, that make them better in their positions, and that increase the quality of the midfield and the defense to a playoff team.
Nah.
But the reason that pisses...
man, no, I can't. No. I disagree. 100%.
Okay,
like, no.
Bye, guys.
It doesn't make sense. No. Bye. Yes, he's gone.
Can I fucking talk, man?
We got
wrong!
I sat here for 8 minutes. I didn't say a word.
Wrong!
Let him talk. If he's right. Let him talk. Finish off.
This team technically has improved. If you look at the minutia of it,
I'm going to mute myself.
It is a better team than last year. The problem is they haven't done enough to actually say that they're a better team relative to the rest of the league. That's why I think that it's dishonorable, because they said they did what they set out to do while not actually doing what they promised. So if this really is the rest of the mercato, if they don't go out there and Philippe Rafa promised 2 or 3 more players coming in, which is well and good. But if it's more people, with all due respect, on the same level of Brian Ceballos and Dani Pereira, then they've basically told everybody to go fuck themselves. Because, again, these are good, solid players, but they're not going to get you to where you need to be. They're here to reinforce already strong parts of a competitive team. They're the last little bit that puts you over the top. They're not the actual substance that'll make you win games. And so because of that, I give them a D. Because technically, they did improve the squad. But you only get a D because your improvement was full of shit. Is that satisfactory, Hadi?
Do you really want me to answer?
All right, look. Okay, before you guys get into each other's throat, we do have a really good
We have quite a few comments. Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for the comments, for the interaction. We love it. We're reading it here. So Edgar asked us, how would you describe the identity of CF Montreal? I've said it. I'm confused. I don't know what the hell their identity is right now. And Sam said soulless. But look, I do want to kind of, and Elias, if you don't mind just kind of popping out the comments here. LP Hassan says, is this really the bar we're at? And then Robbie says, not everybody. Atlanta is worse than us right now. JF says, chill out, guys. With Carmona, we get 3 to 5 points more since the World Cup. And then Edgar again tells us you guys sound like our Galaxy.
Yeah, man.
Copy
Galaxy's not
paste,
doing well
man.
either.
Copy
Yeah.
paste. We're right here. But
Okay,
look,
but
I'll say this
at
because
the end of the
there's-
day,
Yeah.
the real important thing here is that I believe in Philippe Lafroy. I think right now he's doing good things in instilling some sense of identity, but also just kind of getting the club back to a point where even if he's not the coach, whoever they bring in can start from a place of positivity rather than negativity. And people are enjoying themselves again. Right? People are enjoying, they're motivated. What, Hadi? Yeah, no.
Hey, shut up! But like
No, but you keep on. But
guys, we still have a lot
so
to go.
go. Enlighten
Finish.
us.
Okay. We're going to
No,
do a
okay.
rapid fire for this team, okay? Rapid fire, and I want you guys to give me your thoughts on it, okay? Who has been your top
One
performer?
sec. No. Before the rapid fire, we're not going to talk about what Elias said.
Which part? Which
The
part?
part
You
where
can-
he thinks it's a better team than last year's.
I mean, look,
is a better
anything
team
is
than
better
last
than
year.
last year, Hadi.
I know.
Honestly, I don't think
agree, man. I think it's the same team. Yes, okay. Like it's like you don't have a problem in the back line. You add extra players. You don't have a problem in midfield. You add extra players, and you're recruiting players that you don't use.
Can I say
like,
how I think? How
I don't know,
think?
man.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know. Like you. I asked Philippe Lafroy, Danny Pereira. He came in, like, and I saw you replace Samuel Piet for Danny Pereira. The only thing that was working under Lafroy was Samuel Piet, and they brought someone to replace Samuel Piet, and they spent a shitload of money on him. Like,
look,
how is that logical?
what I will say about what and how I agree with Elias is that the only reason why I think CF Montreal is a better team this year than last year is because when you see CF Montreal play this year, you feel like they're only a piece or two away because they really do see, like Philippe Lafroy does seem to have a decent idea of what he wants to do on the field, which is more exciting than last year when we were watching Marco Donadel with also some talented
We're
players.
not talking about the coach. We're talking about the
No, but
players.
about the play in, in the field. That's what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
for sure. Philippe Lafroy is 100 times better than Marco Donadel. On that aspect, I completely agree with you, Angie. If that's what Elias was trying to say, I completely agree with him. So yes, the team is better just because of a better coaching staff. I understand, but with the player on the pitch, I don't agree. I think that
Hadi, I'm gonna read to you the starting 11 that finished last season.
go
This
ahead.
is the prototypical starting 11.
Go ahead.
Pull
Go
up
ahead.
his
Thomas
phone.
Gillier. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. Thomas Gillier. That's
Yeah.
the same. I think Thomas Gillier is at the same level, right? Bodie Hidalgo, Jalen Neal, Brendan Craig, Luca Petrasso. Are we in agreement that this back line is right now is better than the one from last year?
Honestly, it's the same.
David Bugay is better than Bodie Hidalgo.
But
Jalen Neal
Bugay was
has
with the
improved.
team. He was injured at that point, but he was with the
He's-
team.
Doesn't matter. He wasn't playing last year. He's playing this year. He's better.
Yeah.
Is that right or is that wrong?
Yeah, he's right.
I'm not sure.
I
Brandon
would
Craig
think
or
either.
Brian Vera?
Brian Vera is better. Yeah, I agree with that.
Luca Petrasso has stayed roughly the same.
Okay, so you're telling me Morales is better than Jalen Neal? Because if you're comparing with last year,
I'm saying Jalen Neal has improved this year. This Jalen Neal is better than last year's Jalen Neal.
but it's funny because you're not talking about Bugay's last year. When I tell you Bugay's last year is the same as Bugay's
Because
this
he didn't
year,
play last year.
but Jalen Neal is not playing right now.
Just
It's
one
been
game, but he
Morales
has
in the
been
last
playing.
two games.
Because Morales
It's been
played two
it's been
games in a
Morales the
row.
last two games.
Okay, but Jalen Neal is playing more than Efraim Morales is playing this year. You can agree with me on that.
Hadi, can I say something? I think
I don't
Efrain
I haven't even gone to the midfield. You want to hear the midfield, Hattie?
Yeah,
You want to hear the
go
midfield?
ahead, Go ahead.
We gotta
go
move
ahead.
on.
Midfield, Tori Mighty Longstaff and O'Hare Escobar.
Yeah. It's,
Uh,
I get you there. Okay.
Dante
And then-
Sili, Ivan Jaime, Prince Owusu. Prince Owusu is just as good, if not better, than he was last year.
yes.
Ivan Jaime was a flop. You're putting Danny Rios.
But he was
he's
better
also a
than
flop.
fucking Noah Streit or Danny Rios.
I agree.
Okay, good.
But if you put Wiki
He's
Carmona
not.
there,
Mm.
Would you take Ivan Jaime or Wiki Carmona? No,
Wiki
Wiki
Carmona
Carmona is
doesn't
a
play
part of
on
this
the
team,
left.
Hadi.
He doesn't play
Sorry?
on the left. He doesn't play on the left. He
He
plays
has played on the
right.
left this year. He has played on the left this year. Not
Yeah,
always,
he
but he
plays
has.
on the right.
Plays on the right. And the Sinchuk that we've seen so far this year, I take him over Dante Sealy.
Oh no, I don't.
Yes, I do.
I don't.
Dante Sealy was fantastic for 6 games last year.
I don't care. He was very good for us. He was very, very good for us.
We'll call it even.
Good,
Well,
thank you.
You know what? I'll give you Dante Sealy. How about that? That's
You
one
gave me-
guy. That's
you don't
guy.
give me Ivan, so you say that Carmona is better than Ivan Jaime
Yes.
Yes.
on the left,
absolutely.
on the left.
At goalie, anywhere. I put him.
I don't agree.
Dude, Carmona played some deep. Anyways, guys, we got 2 other teams to go, so we really need to get.
Man, okay, let's go. Move on.
I don't think those other 2 teams are going to be as contentious as this one.
Yeah, exactly. The other
I have
two
a lot
teams
to
are
say
gonna
about
be
the other
easy,
teams
man.
too. But
Yeah.
no, it's guys, love the comments. Thank you so much for participating. We love hearing it. We love hearing your thoughts. But yeah, so as I mentioned, we're gonna do a quick rapid fire just to finish.
And I like the last comment. I think Carmona has been as good for the same amount of number of games as Sealy, and I agree with
The only difference is there's still 20 games left to play for Carmona.
I don't care.
Okay.
All right, look. So rapid fire. Who has been the top performing player so far? How do I start with you? Just quickly tell me who you think.
Okay, it's very, very easy, but I would say David Bugay, and it's someone that I wanted to say Luca Petrasso, but I've said it already last year. I really love that player. I love Luca Petrasso, but I think David Bugay has been very, very consistent this year. Yes, 1 or 2 games where he was, but I like what he's doing. I like that. I think he is progressing. He can be even better. I don't think he's a sure thing either, but I like where he's going.
Okay, Elias, who's your top performer?
I agree with Hadi in terms of consistency. That Bugay, ever since even Donadel took over, it's the only guy I think that has shined under both coaches. Brian Vera has been fantastic.
He's been amazing.
He's
been
so
amazing.
good. By far the best acquisition of the last 2 years. And even without that goal, what he brings with and without the ball is invaluable.
Okay, and I'll pick maybe an odd one that maybe nobody expects. I would say Matty Longstaff. He hasn't had all the best games.
No, that's
but I
that
think
way.
he has been very, very different from last year, and he's actually thrived under this scheme. And I didn't like his last game at all. I thought he totally deserved being taken off at halftime, but I really like this game. Okay, which player has been the most disappointing? Be nice, guys. Which player has been the most disappointing? I have to
Ephraim
say,
Morales.
Ephraim Morales, 1,000%. I'm there with you.
I saw the next George Campbell in Ephraim Morales at best, and I get that it's a bad spell, and maybe he's just in a really bad way in terms of confidence and self assurance. But even before this run of bad form hit, he was not at the same level. With the ball, I think he improved. Without the ball, he's much more error prone than he was last year.
Yeah, and when he signed with Cfmtl, he had a couple of decent games. I remember he's very good in the air. He has some good qualities. It's just that he's not improving. I agree with you guys. But I would choose another player. I would choose Olga Escobar. I had so much hope for this guy, but honestly, like, he's getting worse and worse. Like, he's coming onto the pitch. It's a different scheme. He's coming onto the pitch, and he doesn't bring anything at all. Like, nothing, not even a spark. At least at his beginnings, you used to see, a good dribbles. You would see something interesting. But now you're not seeing anything when he comes on the pitch. Nothing.
I will say I didn't hate his cameo against New England, but I agree with you, Hadi, that he's taken a step back.
In general, not on one game.
Yeah.
And I will say that the most disappointing for me has been, who was I going to say? Frankie Amaya. Because
He didn't
exactly. And he's a player that brings, he brings actually MLS experience, right? He did well in the MLS, and he hasn't been able to break the starting lineup at all. He's been a disappointment in all levels. Um, I in the Canadian Championship he's done okay, but he's just done okay. He hasn't done anything to deserve more. So that's my disappointing player of the season. How do we grade the coach so far? We've had two. This is gonna be easy. Let's do A through F, just like we did the team. Harry, I want you to give a grade to Lafroy. I know it's not really fair because he hasn't had that many games, but what grade would you give him?
I would give him C.
Same.
Because I think he's doing great with what he has. Unfortunately, I cannot give him more than that because he doesn't have enough quality. And I can't wait for him to have enough quality so he's able to showcase what he has. I'm just curious because right now, with the small amount of talent that he has, I think he's giving everything that this team can give. But will he make the right decisions and take the right decisions if he has more quality? I'm not sure. So I would say C.
Okay. I would agree with you. I would say C because it feels like he's accepted to take on this role even till the end of the season, knowing that he was going to be dealt a bad hand, and he's doing the best he can. But at the end of the day, it's so hard to say if he's a good coach or a bad coach. He is, in my opinion, in all phases, definitely better than Marco Donadel, dealing with the media, dealing with the players, knowing Montreal, and at least showing us a product that is competitive. As I mentioned, it feels like rinse and repeat that they keep coming back, but that's a team that doesn't stop fighting, doesn't stop believing. And we don't know what's said behind closed doors, but it really does look like they listen to whatever Philippe Lafroy tells them. So that's something that's impressive in itself. So I would give him a C. Elias, what would you give Philippe Lafroy so far?
I'll give him a B because if we're judging him by the same criteria that we judge Marco Donadel with, in terms of making something with nothing, I like what he's done. Because you take this team that is lacking on many fronts, then you remove Ivan Jaime and you remove Wiki Carmona. This guy's forced to put, with Noah Stride, who's out injured as well, this guy's forced to put Danny Rios at left wing.
Yeah, he doesn't have a choice.
Or Fabian
Herbers.
Right? Either way, it's not ideal, you know? And so with that, with all the injuries, with the lack of investment so far, and with the players that are coming in still just learning the system, he's managed to not make lemonade, but not be actively horrible as well. So I think that because of that, he deserves a B. And again, at the same time, you know, the absence of pressure is contagious. He walks in, at least at the beginning of his tenure, Lucas Supra says right away, he's not considered for the permanent job. He's like, fine.
I don't want it either.
I'm here to, I think he does want it, but I'm here to right the ship, and I'm here to make everyone enjoy their football again. And he's done exactly that. The team is playing more freely. He's abandoned the man-to-man. He's made the team defensively more solid. Again, against the three best teams in the East, for 5 of the 6 halves, they were effectively nullified. And so because of that, I think that, you know what, he deserves a B. Because now if you give him a team that's capable of scoring, if you give him a decisive number 10 or an elite winger to add to the Wiki Carmona and the Hennady Sinchuk that we've seen on the right side, then all of a sudden this team is not competitive. It's a playoff team. Which according to their timeline,
I said Sean Rea.
Oh, Sean Rea. We're going to get into that, but I don't think so. Right? So if we're going to give a grade to Luca, you're not going to like what I have.
We did earlier.
Pretty much.
Yeah. We said F. Like when we we graded the team, that's Lucas Supra.
Yep.
Yes, but he brought back, I think, I don't know if Sam finished his sentence, but Lafroy has brought back the feeling, you know?
Yeah.
And so I tactically, I like that he's pragmatic. He's not too overcomplicated. Logic, yeah. I mean, he's simplified a lot of players' roles, and he's made it so that people are in areas where they can succeed. Except for Danny Rios at left wing. Danny Rios, again, chapeau to Danny Rios because he's been dealt arguably the shittiest hand on the team.
I love Danny
and
Rios.
He's trying.
I think he's a good team. Yeah,
God bless him. He's trying.
Teammate.
You know,
he's a good teammate to have.
He came in as a depth player for striker, and he's being forced to play on left wing, and he's doing his best. So you know what?
Yeah.
Thank you for your service, club legend.
All
And
right.
he's a decent player as a backup for the striker. So
Exactly.
I would keep him. I think that's a good get to have, Danny Rios.
So let's finish this now. This segment just with one last question. What does CF Montreal do for the second half of the season to be able to consider the second half a success? Where does the team go from here? I'll give an example. I think, to me, as I mentioned, my word at the beginning was confused. What I want to be considered a successful second half of the season is give me a clear direction as to where this team is going. Give me a clear direction if CF Montreal's approach to recruiting or to playing has changed. Give me a clear message as to where we are going. What do I expect of them in 2027? What can I get excited about in 2027? We might not make the playoffs this season. I'm fine with that. I'm okay. I never expected them to do this since the beginning of the season. But at least give me a direction. Give me hope. We used the word hope earlier. Now I need hope. So that's what I need to consider the second half of the season. You gave me something to hope for. Remember the Laurent Courtois end of 2024? It gave us hope for 2025. It was fake hope. It never happened, never flourished, but it gave us hope. And that's what I want. I want some hope, direction, clarity. Is it going to be Philippe Lafroy on the helm in 2027 because he has his ideas so clear? Is it going to be player signatures that are going to maybe just adapt to the MLS in the last part of the season and then be really exciting in 2027? What about Ivan Lusenko? Is he going to be a big thing? Exactly. Another disappointing player, the same as Amaya, okay? So, again, that's what I need for the second half of the season. That's what I'm looking for it to be considered a success. Elias, what about you?
Playoffs.
Okay.
And building a team that is worthy of it. I don't want them to oops their way into ninth place with this team now because they hit a run of good form out of nowhere and then go like, mission accomplished. No, fuck you. No. Buy people. Buy 3 or 4 people, 2 or 3 people minimum, and actually make us believe that you're serious. Because right now, again, dishonorable is my word.
Hattie?
Yeah, you guys are not gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I need a lot more than you guys said. For me, I need them to I need them to put their money where their mouth is. Mm-hmm. Like honestly, it's just not normal. You send a letter, you give hope to fans that have been struggling for the past 4 or 5 seasons. And we saw in the comments, we saw Courtois, we saw Losada, we saw Donadel, all these coaches that have failed on their promises. But at the same time, we didn't see any stars. We didn't see anybody since Piatti and Drogba. So at one point, you send this letter, people think that they're going to have someone of the caliber of Drogba and Piatti. This is what they're dreaming of. And honestly, right now, I think that's where the club is. This is what they need to do. There's nothing else that they can do. Get another 2, 3, 4 players from MLS teams in trades. This is not going to cut it. It's just not. It's not going to cut it. Get another player like Jaime. It's not going to cut it. It's not enough anymore. You go to CF Montreal games, even when the team sucked, the CF Montreal games were sold out. Right now, like last game against New England, 15,000 people only. This is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. At the same time, yes, there's a lot of people that have been saying stuff here on the comments. First, you have our friend Sam Savi that said, bring back Neil and Vera at CB. Yes, this is something that we need. This is the best CB pairing that we had. Beat, he said Toronto, but beat
Very
Vancouver
fair.
and win the Canadian Championship.
Also beat Toronto. There's one more Canadian Classic coming up.
Get it.
Yeah, beat Toronto in Toronto. But like for me, like beat Toronto in Toronto, for me it's MLS. And honestly, I don't think we can expect anything from MLS this season anymore. Like we can be surprised, and I hope we are. But looking at what we're seeing right now, I don't see how we're going to come back. So they need to spend money right now. C'est maintenant. It's now or never. Right now, you need to put your money where your mouth is, because at the same time, you were complaining that you don't have a field. You were complaining of the Olympic Stadium. You just got funding for the Olympic Stadium. What are you waiting for now? What's your excuse? And now I went to training last time and I asked Philippe Lafroy about the new signings. And his answer was, of course, that was said by the higher management, by the front office. He said, it's very easy to sit behind a computer and guess, and ask to assign players. It's hard to convince them. What did you do in the past 2 years? Don't you have a list of players that could be interesting? Don't you have a scouting department? You said that you're using the Bologna scouting department. Where's their work? What did they do for CF Montreal? So at one point, when you say, we're going to use the recruits from the scouting departments of the scouts from the scouting department of Bologna, are you guys using them? Because we're not seeing anything.
Frankie Amaya.
Frankie Amaya was in Mexico, and he's an MLS product.
He's on loan from LAFC.
Even Losenko.
No, but honestly, guys, this is becoming a joke. We've already were a joke for the past 4 years, but now we're really a joke, because at least before we had some academy players that used to be pretty good. Right now, who do we have? Guboglu, who was the next academy player to be have a chance to become someone, is already loaned. You don't have anybody to show for, nothing.
This is why I said I'm confused. I'm confused and I want clarity.
But they don't know what they're doing, Andy. They don't know what they're doing.
And it's very evident. Yeah. Show me, like I said, if you want to put the blame on one person, okay, take off the pressure of Lucas Saputo if he's not your guy. That's what CF Montreal did right with Olivier Renard. They said, he's our guy. He's the one making the decision. He gets the heat for the good and he gets the heat for the bad. But here right now, first of all, Lucas Saputo, what's his title? Can you guys say it at the top of your head?
Sporting director.
What's his position?
Sporting director.
Methodology
of Greenfield Park, of the Saputo, of the...
That's woke nonsense.
Nobody knows anything.
What is his position? What is he doing? What is his vision besides a letter that he wrote a year ago? What is the vision? And by the way, Gabriel Gervais signed that letter. Where's Gabriel Gervais been? Because he signed that letter. So where are they? And who's answering the questions? Because I'm confused.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're going.
We're all on the same page. And even all the people that are following us right now, we're reading all the comments. Unfortunately, we cannot, showcase them all. But we're all the three of us, we agree with you. And right now, there's only one solution. You have to put your money where your mouth is. Mm-hmm. No other solution. There's nothing else that you can do. Yeah, and Sam is right. We all love the club more than these executives do. I'm pretty sure they love the club. I will never, honestly, I know, how the Saputo are, there's a lot of pressure on them. Yes, there's a lot of bad on them. Yes, they're not taking the right decisions. But at the same time, we cannot question their love for the club because they're here, right? So, we're all bashing them and they're still here, right? So let's not really discuss their love for the club.
Yeah.
Now, guys, a huge thank you to our friends at Impact Essentials for being part of the Ball is Round squad. They've been really, really nice with us. Great sponsor for us. So whether you're getting ready for match day, heading to the stadium, or tuning in from home, make sure you're looking your best with their premium, all-natural grooming products. Visit impactessentials.ca and use promo code TBIR to save 15% on your order. 15% on your order with promo code TBIR. Every purchase helps supports the show and keeps us bringing you the best coverage of CF Montreal, Roses FC, FC Supra du Québec, and the Montreal soccer scene. Now let's get back to our Montreal teams. Let's get back to the two next teams that at least we can have nicer discussions.
Yeah, let's go. All right, so next up, we got the Rose FC. As we did with CF Montreal, we are going to quickly talk about the game, which now feels like a while ago. I believe it was Thursday night. Roses FC came out with a thrilling victory, 4-3 victory against the Vancouver Rise at Swangard Stadium. Exciting game. Very exciting game. We were talking about it during the night, guys, when it was going, because it was a late night game. It was at 10 p.m. What do you guys think? Overall thoughts of that game?
I mean, I it's one of those games that I think define seasons almost, because they very easily could have lost this game or at least dropped points. And then you fall even further behind Ottawa. Now you're threatened by Toronto to catch you for second, and your season just becomes unnecessarily complicated. But they did a great job to kind of weather the storm in the first half and get on top of it. And then also when they made these rotations to the squad, especially don't have a bunch of important players, they held Vancouver at bay. They held a very motivated Latifa Abdou at bay, and they came out with 3 points. And so games like this, if something happens and Montreal ends up winning the title, winning the league, games like this are the reason for it. So again, it's one of the many very professional victories that they've had this season. And this mental toughness that Montreal has shown over the course of a couple of these wins were nowhere to be found last year. And I think it's just one more thing that the team has added is this kind of ability to tough out very complicated games that are very easy to drop points against worse opposition.
Yeah, I mean, look, to me, it was one of the best games that I've seen Roses play, just in the sense of it felt like they were playing their game naturally. We've criticized the pitch in Stade Boréal and how difficult it is for opponents to play there, but we've also seen Roses struggle to play there and find their game. And it felt like Robert Rossitoyo was finally able to actually see his team develop the play the way he wanted it. As you mentioned, Elias Latifa Abdou came in at the 60th minute, and she looked like she wanted to, score 5 goals on Montreal. Heidi, you mentioned also in the chat that she didn't like her celebration too much, but I did tell you there is bad blood there. So there is that will probably come out in a few years when people start speaking truth about it. But there is a little bit of drama going on behind that. But yeah, very good game. It just felt, because right now in the table, Vancouver is very, trying to fight off last place, even though they're very, very far from last place. But they're not the same team that won the championship last year. While Montreal is trying to fight to get second or first place. So it was two teams in two different directions, but Vancouver really brought the best out of Roses on Thursday night, and it was a really, really exciting game to watch. As Elias mentioned, this game could have gone in either direction, and it was good game to watch. Hari, your thoughts?
Oh man, I love Marie-Yasmine Alidou, man, on that game. Like, oh my god, man. Oh my god. She showcased the reason why we were hyped when she signed with the club. Oh my god. Like, what a game. That goal that she scored, her movements on the pitch, like, what a player. What a player. And this is the kind of players that are here and are the foundation of something great. And I'm super excited to see Marie-Yasmine Alidou here. And talking about the game, I like the game, yes. I just hope that I don't like the fact that we conceded 3 goals. This is something that bothers me a bit. I thought that there are 2 goals where we were a bit shaky in defense. So we need to make sure to adjust that. Yes, I understand that Stephanie Hill is not here. Completely understand that. But it's not supposed to rest on one player, right? So there's something that needs to be fixed there. and needs to improve there. So hopefully, Robert Rosituyo will have what he's been asking for in the past few weeks is wing backs. We do have Pierre Louis that did play a few minutes on that game. Amadou Pierre Louis that can play as a right wing back. So that's going to be interesting. But I think they need a bit more help on those positions.
And we'll talk about that because as we said, we are doing the mid-season review. Guys, please, those that are watching us, please comment. Such an exciting segment with CF Montreal, but we really want to hear your takes on Rose FC as well, their season. So Rose FC and the NSL are currently in third place after 14 games, 8 wins.
Second place.
Oh, second place. I don't know why the table I saw. Anyways, they're in second place in the NSL after 14 games, 8 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses with 27 points. Oh my God. So they've scored 28 goals. Goals conceded have been 16. Goal difference is plus 12. And they've had 5 clean sheets. So similar to CF Montreal. What grade would you guys give Rose FC so far in the 2026 campaign? F being unacceptable. A being outstanding. Guys, I don't know who started with in the CF Montreal segment, but
you started with yourself, CF Montreal.
How do you start with me?
It's okay. No, I think you started with me, and then you followed up. So go ahead, Elias.
I'm going to give them a B plus. I think that they're very close to being at an A if you take into account the jump they took from last year, but there are still moments and there are still full games sometimes where they need work, and it's kind of evident. But you look at the step forward in tactics, in, as I mentioned about the Vancouver game, mental toughness and just synergy as a group. You've managed to keep the entire core there, except for Ali Hess, and improve on it significantly. All around top marks. Then you bring in Amandine Pierre-Louis, F. Périsset, and Mimi Alidou. On top of that, you're already in second place, and then you reinforce the squad like this, and the window is still open. And we know that Marielle Pichon does not sleep, apparently, because she's just always working. It's
she's working properly. Add properly.
It's a B plus, and just having this contrasted with what we saw about the last club is insane, like a year-on-year turnover. And it shows that, again, these are different levels, right? This is a team in their second year building off of an already strong season versus a team in a full rebuild. But it shows what intention and simply getting the job done looks like. So, again, for the entire front office, for the coaching staff and the players across the board, have all gotten better and have all done exactly what was needed of them. And if you look back to the post-mortem we did of the Roses last year, almost every single thing we asked them to do, almost every single thing we wanted done has been done. So all this close to an A.
Oh, interesting. I'm actually, and I actually forgot to do this because I did do this for the last segment. Elias, if you can describe their first half of the season in one word, what would you do? What would you say?
Freedom.
Freedom. Okay. I'm going to use the word clarity because I said I was confused in the last one. This one, it's clear what they want from the field to outside of the field. So my grade is going to be an A. I'm going to be even nicer than Elias. 100%, there's areas to improve. But this team has shown they've been very clear in their vision as to how they want to play on the field and what kind of quality of players they want to have on the field. And beyond that, the stadium experience, whenever it is that the fans go to watch a Stade Boréal or Roses FC game, first of all, they pack the house. They do, and I'm not going to say it's a sold-out stadium, but they do get a lot of fans. And the quality of players are also good. Robert Rosatoya has managed also to do what he can, especially when dealing with injury crisis. He's managed to also use players in different positions that they're not used to. We can talk about Tanya Boychuk playing wingback, Megan Sauvé playing the center back, and Valérie Seto starting as a right center back and then staying there for the rest of the season and being able to, play decent games. They've also released players that were not producing. We get, or that maybe not necessarily not producing, but not doing well with the team. We can talk about Sherin Kang, Hunbin Chao, if I remember her name correctly. Hanbin Choi. And these are players that weren't producing. And obviously now it's not like losing a Latif Abdul where it clearly, changes the whole season. So no, I think their vision has been clear, and they keep saying, they haven't done it yet, but they keep saying that they're going to bring in more players. Hopefully that happens to, again, strengthen how the direction of this team. So that's my grade. I'm giving them an A. Hadi, one word and the grade.
I want to just share a comment from Edgar here. This show illustrates the duality of man as you go from grumbling about CF Montreal and then glowing about Roses FC. And he's completely right.
Wait till we talk about FC.
Edgar, almost every show since the season started has been this.
Exactly.
It's been grumble, 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 grumble. On to the Roses. Huzzah.
Fun stuff.
Man, the Roses are the word that I would choose is exciting. Exciting is the word.
This is why following men's soccer is dumb.
No, but like honestly, it's exciting, and it's exciting on so many levels. And my grade for that team, since Elias said B+, I will choose A-. So I will use the minus. I would say A-, and the minus being that there's just a couple of games where they weren't at the level. There's just the pitch at Stade Boréal, that's really bad. That's the few things that are missing. But why did I say exciting? It's because every time I need to cover Roses, every time I need to go to Stade Boréal, anytime I talk with someone from the club, anytime I watch a game, anytime I have expectations towards that club, every time they announce something, it gets me excited. Excited all the time on every aspect of the team. Excited. That's all I get from them. I'm happy whenever I go to the training. I'm happy whenever I talk to the comms team and I say hi to Zach. That's awesome. Great job to Zach Favreau with the Roses. And we talk to Marinette Pichon. They're inviting. You feel that you're there, you're part of the team. And I'm not talking about me being a media, but the same thing when I'm a fan. You go there, you have those cheerleaders that come and, the group band. Of Supra, the band that comes and, let's go Roses, let's go Roses. You have, everybody wearing pink. You have good food outside. You have, you have a sense of clarity, like you said, Andy. Like, this team is exciting on so many levels that it's like a breath of fresh air every time I go and cover that team. And you look at the signings. I talked a bit about Marie-Yasmine Lalidou. She's been amazing. Amandine Pierre-Louis, that's the right fit. F. Périsset, I can't wait to see her play with the team. And you look at other players that have been signed at the beginning of the year. Lisa Peczerski. Oh my God, she's been out of this world. And you talked about all the departures, the players that weren't being effective under the scheme with the Robert Rositoyu. At the same time, let's talk about the coaching staff. Robert Rositoyu changed his tactics this year. He was able to switch and get better. He goes on a training program. He comes back. Team starts winning again. He talked about Marie is his assistant coach, that he wants her to get the license the same way he did this year, that next year he hopes that she's going to be able to have it. So there's a vision in this club, and the vision is positive. The vision is exciting, and I feel that this club is reaching for heights that has never been reached in Montreal. Never. And that's exciting.
Exactly, which is why, and again, I'm just going to put it out there, guys. I'm encouraging my family and friends to go to the Stade Saputo game of Roses.
Yeah.
Pack the stadium. It's an exciting game to watch, and it's exciting team
on
to
the
watch.
14th.
And yes, pack Stade Saputo, because they deserve it. This Roses team is doing really well. All right, let's do a quick rapid fire. Who has been the top performing player so far? I think we're all going to agree with it. I'm gonna
Patricia.
say it, Lisa Pechersky,
Yeah, for
top
sure.
performer. I mean, who? Unless you guys have another choice, I'm
For,
gonna
for,
say
for the
Lisa.
sake of adding variety, at least Bennett deserves her plaudits, right? One of the biggest problems was the finishing last year, and yeah, she has some games where she's not as imposing as others, but she's still the team's top scorer. She's still
Yeah.
imposing herself, and so I think she deserves credit. But I think yeah, Lisa Pechersky is absolutely the team MVP this year so far.
How do you have any? Do you have anybody? You know what?
I
You
would
want to take?
choose I would choose someone else just again for the sake of argument. I
Yeah.
like the progression of Anna Karpenko
Mhm.
from year 1 to year 2.
5 clean sheets,
So
man.
yeah, that's really amazing, and she seems a bit more confident. Also, she takes the right decisions. Yes, she's gonna have sometimes she's still gonna take the wrong decisions, and that's okay because she's improving. But I like what I'm seeing from her.
What player has been the most disappointing? I'm gonna say Laurie Thibault has regressed from last year, and I still, to this day, midway through the season and full 2025, do not understand what she does on the field or what position she plays. So I'm gonna say that's my most disappointing. How do you or Elias, whichever one wants to go?
I'm gonna be tough. Okay, I know that, and I'm pretty sure you're not. Maybe you guys are not gonna agree with this. But I would say Felicia Roy. And the reason behind it is, yes, of course, she was injured. I understand that. But she went to Canadian U20 national team, and then she came back, and then she wasn't on the bench at one point. And when I asked Alberto Rositoyo in the press conference, he said, yeah, she's healthy,
Yeah,
coach's decision. So for me, that's not the kind of attitude that I want to see from my midfielder and my young midfielder that shows a lot of promise. So, I haven't seen, and honestly, we haven't seen much of her this year because she was injured, but I'm expecting a lot more. And when you're with the U20 of the Canadian women's national team and you're aiming to be a top player for this country, I need better attitude.
Elias.
I don't have one.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right.
It's okay.
Disappointed. I don't have one. If I had
What was
to
maybe
pick
someone that you had more expectations for this season? How about that?
oh, it's gonna hurt my heart. But Cherim,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cherim,
No,
I
fair.
understand, right? The homesickness does play a massive part in a player's well being, in a player's confidence, in a player's ability to enjoy their football. But you can tell, right, when she came to Montreal last year, halfway through the season, she was a breath of fresh air, technically, and just even her demeanor. And this year, I mean, look, it was announced a couple months ago, but this has obviously been brewing for a while. And I think that was probably evident from the start of the season, where she just was not up to her standard. So I love Cherim. I think she was a fantastic addition to the team. But sometimes, it's the risk you take when you sign international players. That homesickness, it's not even an international thing, right? You can go from Montreal to Toronto and miss home. It happens, right? So I hope she's doing all right. I don't know if she's found a new club yet. I don't know what she's been
She
up
did.
to, but I hope she does. I hope she does great. But yeah, that's probably my disappointment of the season, because I was so excited to see her with Lisa Pechersky like in combination. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah, she definitely looked like a shell for herself when she first arrived. All right, moment of truth. What grade would you give Robert Russell to you so far? We talked about it already a little
I
bit.
gotta give him an A.
Same.
I gotta give him an A. Right, the way he organized the team, the way he shifted, turned everything on its head. And again, usually coaches want to make incremental changes. They go, okay, maybe we'll switch to a three back, but we'll play the same way. No, he said, forget all that. We're switching to a three back. We're throwing caution to the wind. Wing backs, you get to do whatever the hell you want. Go. You have the freedom to do anything. That's why my word of so my one word was freedom, because everyone was just allowed to do what they felt was right and how they impact the game. And when you bring in difference makers like that, they're good enough for you to give them freedom. And Robert Rosatoyu understands when you need tactics and discipline, and when you need freedom and the liberty to kind of create your own way. And so Robert Rosatoyu for me is more than deserving of an A. He's been fantastic.
And he's a fan of the show. he's told us several times that he enjoys what we do. So, but no, I agree. Just when we look at what he's done on the field, just the adaptation, just again letter A, because he's been very clear and very transparent as to what's going on. He hasn't played mind games with the media. He's been very straightforward as to what he expects on the field, what he sees from his players. As you mentioned, Hattie, the first time I actually saw him kind of hold back was the whole Felicia Roy situation, and that's something that is weird even for him. But so far he's been very transparent with the media, and also again, as the season has gone on, he's been dealt with different hands, be it the pitch, be it the weather, be it the bubble blowing up in the middle of the summer. Like it's just been different things where he's handled it with calm, and he's answered the questions, and he's always, he's lost players, he's gained players, but they always stick to his style. So no, I think he deserves an A. Very good work, and he got a certificate this year too. So, Hadi, well, what grade do you give for?
Yeah, I would say an A2 for Robert Rositoyu. Let's not forget, when we give an A, that doesn't mean that everything what he did was golden, right? Of course, he has some things that he could do better, and that's completely normal. But like when you look at the results, when you look at what he's done, when you look at the progression of the players under him, when you look at the way things are going for the team in general, it's an A. No questions there. No questions there. Really, no questions. And I really like also his the way he used his roster. Even the young players, like all the development players, like what's her name? The left wing, Marilou Harvey, and even the young Alexis that came for a few minutes in one game. Like, I like that. I feel that every player has a chance, and this is what you need to do as a coach. You need to show that everybody, work, you'll get your chance. Follow what I tell you, you'll get your chance. Not, come to training, work like a dog, and then you'll never get a minute.
Yeah.
So, no, props and good job, and hats off to Robert Rositoyu. Great manager. Hopefully he'll get an extension on his contract. So hopefully we'll see him
a contract year
for a couple more years.
And for those of you that might be new to listening to us, we know we sound right now very happy about Robert Rositoyu, 100%. But if you heard us last year, especially when Roses FC were in that slump, yeah, we needed answers, and we needed answers from Robert Rositoyu because it wasn't a good time. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the season, things can change quickly. So we'll see how that goes. All right, just to finish this segment. All right, so that's a good question. Do you guys have no concern that the Roses never beat AFC Toronto at home?
I like that question. I really like that question. Yeah, Stade Royal. I like that question, and we asked the question to the Toronto coach when he came here at the last game. And he didn't know why he was able to win every time or get a draw every time he was in Laval. And honestly, I don't have concern, because it's not like it's been 6 years that it's been happening. It's just it happened, and you know what, good for Toronto. I can't wait until we beat them, and we are going to beat them very, very soon. But no, I'm not concerned right now, because it hasn't been a long streak for me to be concerned about.
But I mean, Toronto has been good. I mean, they've dealt with their own struggles throughout the season. They've had their own injury issues as well. But they outplayed Montreal when we saw them play here. And it's not necessarily worrisome. It's just like at some point, Montreal will have bad games, and they will need to learn how to bounce back or adapt better if certain things are not working. Because that Toronto game, and we're not going to delve into every game, but that Toronto game, it just felt like Roses didn't really adapt that and didn't really change anything when they should have. But let's go ahead and finish this segment as we finished with CF Montreal. Where do Roses FC go from here, and what do they have to do to consider the second half of their season a success? Hattie, I'll start with you.
Keep winning, keep having these results. keep on being between the first, like try to catch up to Ottawa. That would be great. And just make sure to finish in second spot. Like at worst, it's very important to be ahead of Toronto going into playoffs. That's the only thing they need to do. And then please change that surface at Stade Boréal.
It's not gonna happen this year.
It's going to happen for next year.
Next
Yeah,
year, yeah,
this
confirmed. Thank God.
year. For the second
Yeah,
half.
I understand, but still, like at the same time, you need to talk about it right now in order for it to happen for next year, right? So there's work this year.
Make an announcement. That's what Hadi wants. Make an
Exactly.
announcement on the pitch.
Yeah,
No, I agree. Look, what I think they need, as you mentioned, Hadi, I think they need to continue winning. That's the first thing, because last year, that's what they were missing. They stopped winning at some point, and that really, really messed up their second half of the season. But beyond that, keep on winning, and also keep on giving the youngsters minutes, because you need to give Marilou Harvey more minutes and allow her to develop. There's other youngsters that are also playing with the CF Academy that need minutes. And also like define some of the positions, because Tanya Boychuk cannot be a right back, especially heading into the playoffs when the competition gets the stakes get higher. You need a natural wing back. You need somebody that can and also some depth in the position, right? So these are some of the things that to me would be considered successful. Again, define the positions, define the depth in midfield, because as well, Charlotte Bibo, Chloé Menas, Laurie Thibault, not completely sure about what's going on with that combination, as well as Félicie Roy. It's just a very confusing midfield. So these kind of things have to be defined by the end of the season and heading into the playoffs. Elias, thoughts? How did they finish the season, and what's the second?
I have very quantifiable goals, unlike CF Montreal, where it was very kind of do this and maybe do that. This is very simple: finish at least in second place, and make the finals of the playoffs. Those are my two bare minimum requirements as to what I wanted, what I need to see based on the quality of the team you have and the additions that you've brought in. You have plenty of time for everyone to hit their stride, to get healthy, and to get into the right position to make a real push for this playoff title. But at the same time, you're still playing Ottawa 3 times. There's 11 games left. 3 of them are against Ottawa. So there's a chance that you're still absolutely in control of your own destiny, but there is also the danger of dropping points, because you only have 3 points between you and Toronto now, and beating Ottawa 3 times in a row is not an easy thing. Toronto has only lost twice this year. So more than doubling their loss total for the entire season by yourself is not feasible. So what you have to do now is you have to be there when inevitably Ottawa slips up. You have to be ready to pounce. You're ready to pick up points, and games like that Vancouver one are exactly those kinds of games where you see Ottawa drop points, you're having a rough game, you figure it out. You find a way to win, and you take the advantage. You close the gap. You start to put pressure. Ottawa has 7 points of a gap right now. It's a massive safety net. You have to start chipping away as soon as possible. So yeah, that's the very bare minimum should be second place in both the league and in the playoffs to show that growth from year on year.
Do you think they can be champions this year?
Absolutely.
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Especially with the players they brought in. Again, staying healthy is a massive contingent on them winning anything this year. But remember, Evelyn Badou coming back, Stephanie Hill coming back, Lisa Petrsky still coming back from injury. She's ramping up. Or she looks great, but she needs to regain that fitness now. Amandine Pierre-Louis, we didn't really talk about her that much. She looked very rusty. She's going to take a while to kind of get her legs back under her, and then she'll be flying. If Berisset has not played a minute yet, right? She should be ready before the playoffs. But again, that's another player. These are huge contributors to the success of this team. So Montreal needs to stay in a position where they can be within striking distance of the title when all these players come back to really ramp up the pressure and lay the marker down as we are the best team in this league and we have to play like it. Because Ottawa right now is a well-oiled machine. They are fantastic and they're consistent and they're ruthless.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
well,
Berisset should be back well before the playoffs, because final game of the season is end of October, right? So
yes, but at the same time, I knee injuries and blood turf do not go hand in hand.
Yeah,
just ask Keyshawn Ferdinand.
Let's be hopeful, man. Let's be hopeful.
Transition.
You mean Isma? Keyshawn Ferdinand. Hey, I'm not.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
injured, right?
Is he?
Like, he's playing, but he's injured.
Oh,
Man,
okay.
he's been hurt all season. He
Yeah.
came to training camp injured, and he's not looked 100% since.
Interesting. All right. So before our last subject of the night, if you're enjoying the ball is round, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. It is the best way to support the show and help us grow. Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments like you have been so far. And make sure to follow our personal accounts on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, on all platforms. You can follow Andy, Hattie, and Elias. You have our handles right under our names. For those of us listening, Andy is Andy's Take 88 on X. Hattie is Soccer on Folie at Soccer on Folie, and Elias is the Grigoriadis for on X. So make sure to follow us for all of our takes on CF Montreal, Rolls FC, and FC Supra du Quebec, which is our final topic. Again, we're going to go ahead and quickly talk about their game. FC Supra were on the road against CPL's last place team, Pacific FC, and came out with a win, a 2-1 victory after being up 2 players. What were your thoughts on the game, guys? I'm going to be harsh. But go ahead. Who wants to say first?
Yeah, start yourself, man.
You know what? You guys remember my reaction? You guys give me so much shit about it against Canada's men's national team in the World Cup. Against
here we go again.
What?
They should have scored 10.
Yes.
They should have scored more than 10
with 2 men up.
More than 10, and they suck, and they don't have an identity, and they should be thrown into jail, and whatever.
How do you sum the difference? Like, guys, okay, call me crazy. I have high expectations for crazy. A team when you're playing against a last place team with two men up. Like, okay, they won the game and the results are all that matters, 100%. But I still want more from FC Supra. These are the opportunities that you need to score more and really turn heads around the league, because you can't be. I mean, Pacific still had their chances being down 10 men. And I really think that FC Supra need to work on having a little bit more of a killer instinct on the top. But that's my take. Again, maybe my standards are too high, but that's what I think. What about you, Hari? What do you think?
Honestly, I don't disagree with you when you look at the team and when you look at the kind of players that the team has. But when you look at the run of form of FC Supra, I'm happy they got the win.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've been so bad in the last few weeks that honestly, mentally, they were so down that they needed something. They needed a breather. They needed those 3 points to start believing again, right? So when you look at, and that's the same thing usually for teams all across the world. When you're in a bad spot, everything seems like a gigantic mountain to climb. And even if Pacific FC was the last team in the standing, even if they had 2 red cards, I understand that. But I think mentally, the Supra were really, really down. And now at least they got the win. They got that breather. I think that's a good, that's a good thing in order to move on to the next chapter of the Supra's life. So I agree with you, Andy, but now I think any kind of win is great.
Fair.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. That's
fair. I still stand by what I said, but it's fair what you said. Elias?
Look, you're playing against last place. They go down a man. They're up a goal. They're going to park the bus.
For sure.
And then they double park the bus when they got a second red card. It was a great ball in. Safwan Mla now, who at like 5'7", 5'8", now has 2 header goals. Both super clutch winning goals also. Look, you find a way, right? Like Heidi said, you're in a shit spot. You have the chance to leapfrog Halifax Wanderers with games at hand on almost everybody ahead of you, and you take it. Job done. At one point, they had 1 win in 7 CPL games. Now they won. They won two. They lost two of the last four. Baby steps, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The
They need
most
to come
important thing
back.
right now is these next 2 weeks are season defining. Because
I
in the
agree.
next 2 weeks between this Saturday and August 19th, they have Cavalry, second leg of the Canadian Championship quarterfinals against Atletico Ottawa. And Atletico Ottawa again, and if they win that game, they go within a point of Atletico Ottawa while also having a game in hand. And then they play Forge. Back to back to back to back to back. In 2 weeks, the four most important games of their season. It will be decided whether or not they make the playoffs, whether or not they make the semifinals of the Canadian Championship in their first ever try, whether or not they finally throw the gauntlet down on Forge, whether they finally throw the gauntlet down on Cavalry, who again, last week, you lose in the 94th minute. That's brutal. You take a point away from that. You're 3 points behind Atletico Ottawa, and you're in a fantastic spot with the game in hand. You're in control of your own destiny. So all these things, right? That win against Pacific to kind of at least give you this momentum going into what is the most important 2 weeks of the season is huge, especially with the way you do it, with the character that you do it. It's a win by committee. Everyone was involved. I think right now, so important.
I like what Robbie said. Robbie said many ifs tonight. I mean, it is
But-
midway through the season.
but
There will
Not
be
the
ifs.
roses. We didn't have any ifs
No,
with the
those
roses.
were solid decisions.
At least these ifs are in the future. They're not if they had beat Cavalry. If they had it's
Well
if
said.
they can beat Cavalry now. If they can beat Ottawa twice. If they
They're
can beat
hopeful ifs.
the hopeful ifs, not regretful ifs,
Exactly.
remorseful ifs. They are anticipatory ifs. And I love it.
We should call that a segment. What if
Anticipatory
is this?
What the if is this, man?
That's it. What the if is this? All right. So mid-year review. FC Supra in the standings are currently 6th place in the CPL after, and if you can pull up the table because last time I got it wrong, but FC Supra are currently 5th. You see, I got it wrong again. 5th in the CPL after 14 games with 5 wins, 7 losses, and 2 draws with 17 points. They've had 21 goals for, 26 goals against, and a -5 goal difference with 0 clean sheets. Those are some rough numbers to see. I'll start like I did with the other segments. One word to describe their season, their inaugural season. I think, Hadi, you went first last time, Elias?
No, Elias went
I went
first.
first.
Oh, sorry, Hadi, go ahead.
You go first now.
You
You
go
haven't
first
gone
now.
first yet. You go
Exactly.
first.
I've said this to you guys off air, and I'm going to say it here. Disappointment. I'm disappointed in their first season. I expected a lot more. And like I said, it's not just on the field, it's off the field. That's my one word. Howdy?
Can you explain what you mean off the field? Like you said it. Like
I've expected a lot more. I expected attendance-wise on the stadium. We talked about it a lot with Rose FC, right? How exciting it is to game. I'm not saying it's not exciting. I'm not saying it's not exciting to go to FC Super games. It is exciting. It's a very fun product to watch. But as far as attendance goes, as far as, you know, some of the experiences for fans, especially showing up on a Wednesday night or Thursday, it's underwhelming sometimes. And I've said it on this show before. We've talked about it. Having an Ismael Kone, Moise Bombito, Nathan Saliba after the World Cup, and you are not even able to fill up the second half of the Stade Boreal. It just doesn't make sense to me. So as far as the product on the field, I think, and we'll talk about players, there are certain players that have disappointed me that I thought were going to be more impactful, which makes it a disappointment for me because some of the players that are being impactful now are actually surprise players to me that I never heard of and that I didn't think they were going to be impactful when I first heard of them. But they actually are. And Elias talked about Safwan Emla being one of the players that it is kind of surprising because he is impactful in his own way. But disappointment in that sense. I feel like in a lot of ways, FC Supra is taking certain things for granted, especially the fans, by not really making much of an effort to get them on the field. Get them to the stadium on game days and hyping up the games and making it worth their moments being there. I'm not talking about the play on the field. I'm talking about the stadium experience, like Hadi emphasized heavily on with Rose's game. So that's my word, and I said why. Hadi, do you want to say what your word of this for their season is so far?
Roller coaster.
It's 2 words.
No, it's 1 word. Okay, roller coaster. Like when you go at la ronde, you don't go on a roller or a coaster. You go on a roller coaster. Okay. No. Okay. You understand. Okay. Je peux l'appeler la ronde. That's the word.
That's the word. That's even worse.
Ronde, man. fucking Disneyland. Disney World.
That's one word. That's
Okay, for Hadi, exceptions.
No,
2 words.
Like, honestly,
Yeah.
like I feel like we're so many emotions with that team. Honestly, like they first started the season, it was really exciting. They won a game in Pacific. We were like, on cloud 9, thinking that wow. Even the players, I think they thought that they could be very competitive in the league and stuff like that. And then we got that stretch of bad results. We got that disgusting game at home, losing 5-1. And now, we're breathing again, getting a couple of wins. Yes, losing in Cavalry by 1 goal. But, we're kind of thinking that we might get a chance to get to the playoffs or to finish 5th or whatever, a roller coaster. I don't know where, I don't know. I think I went through too many places emotionally with that team, and I feel like this team needs to do better in order to be calmer, a lot more composure within the team, not only on the pitch but off the pitch too. Need to make sure to have a structure off the pitch and on the pitch, and they're getting better at it. Now, at the same time, if I go to my grade, I would give a C. And the reason about it...
Before you get to your grade, let's hear what Elias's first word, the word of the season is, because we're all going to say our grade.
Okay.
My word, and I think the tone is very important in the interpretation of my word. My word is okay. And I'll explain. Because
okay. Sorry.
Because we're at the halfway point of the season now, and they're 4 points out of a playoff spot with a game in hand. And when you look at the expectations from outside of Quebec, and when you look at, like Hadi said, that run of very poor form where they win 1 regular season game in 7, you're thinking, okay, just be competitive and maybe get back in the fight towards the end of the season if you get a good run of form. No, they immediately bounced back. They got some big wins against Halifax and Pacific, and they're back in it. So I think when you go to the preview episode, I said they would finish either 6th or 7th. It'd still be in the playoffs fight, but I thought that they wouldn't even be the runner-up to the playoffs. So now they're 5th. They're tied with Halifax, but again, they have 2 games in hand on Halifax. So, all right. This looks good. I had another word, but it was a much more negative word, and I'll get into that maybe a little bit when I talk about my grade.
Okay.
But okay is my word.
So I guess mine is okay. But
oh shit.
All right, so now, Hadi, since you were already, and I'm sorry to cut you off there, but can you maybe give us your grade so far? Again, similar to what we did earlier, F being unacceptable and A being outstanding for their 2026 campaign.
I would give a C, as I said a bit earlier. And the only reason why I would give a C is because it's their first year in the Canadian Premier League. It's a new club. So I expect, those ups and downs. I think that the team, the players, but also the staff needs to learn that you're in a professional setting, and it takes a bit of time. So there's a big learning curve right now, and it's normal to see those ups and downs. So as of right now, if you guys remember what we said at the beginning of the season, our expectation at the end of the year, we said that they could be either. I said that they could be either in the fourth place or in the fifth place, and right now they're in the fifth place, so they're on par on what I was expecting from the club. So they didn't surprise me, but they didn't surprise me negatively or positively. So at this point I would give a C because yeah, like hopefully we'll see better, but at the same time this is what I was expecting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a little bit harsher. I'm gonna give it a D because, as I said, I'm
But you said
disappointed.
they were going to finish seventh at
What?
the beginning of the year.
Oh, I did. I don't know. But anyways, I'm disappointed because like I said, there's so many aspects of it where I'm still a bit confused as to what Nick Rizaghi expects of his team. I think the team is very talented, but only in certain parts of the field, not the whole field. Um, there's no defined identity to me on the field, and outside of the field, like you mentioned, Hadi, there's a lot of question marks as to what are we doing, what are they doing, how does it go. So um, again, it's just the first half of the season. It's a new team, but the league isn't new. It's not the oldest league in the world, but there are other teams, and I think that they can still do a much better job, just like we saw Roses FC also do a much better job in the second half of the season. But yeah, it's gonna. I think there's a lot to see still from FC Supra. I don't want it to sound like it hasn't been a pleasant experience. I think it has been a pleasant experience going to their game and watching them play and seeing some of these unknown profiles, show what they can do in a professional environment. But I think that they still have a long way to go. Elias?
I'm going to stick with a C. And I think in large part due to the fact that, even if they have technically exceeded my expectations so far, there's still a lack of professionalism at the club. And it's not because they're behaving unprofessionally per se,
Mm-hmm.
but it's because they still have to learn how to be professionals. Right? When I spoke with David Chouanière, he gave a really good insight into kind of guiding some of the younger players towards what it means to be a professional football player. I spoke with Laurent Simon. By the way, little promo, we have a fantastic interview with Laurent Simon coming out this week. He kind of spoke a bit
That's
about,
for all Patreons, guys. So go
yeah,
register on our Patreon. You can register for
um,
free if you want to, and you'll have access to that interview
before everybody else. So,
Yeah.
before everybody else.
but he kind of gave a pretty interesting insight into what separates a semi-professional coach from a professional coach, and the path that the majority of the super staff is taking towards really integrating itself as professionals. And so again, it's not a knock on them, but it's more just an acknowledgement of the growing they still have to do, whether it's tactical, whether it's the communication of your ideas, whether it's squad selection or even media interaction, right? All these things that cumulatively make a professional organization, I think they're still learning it, right? And there's a lot of professionals within that environment already, but there's some who don't have that experience or who have very limited experience and didn't really get the gist of it. That learning still needs to be done. And I think that is the biggest contributor to this roller coaster season that's happening, is because when you have players of this quality, being able to consistently provide that output in training, in games, in recovery, in every single aspect of your life, it takes a lot of professionalism. And it's not acquired in 6 months. It's acquired over years, right? I wouldn't even be surprised if next year there's still some issues with that, especially with some of the younger kids, because that's just part of being a professional. Yeah, you've played in academies. That doesn't translate in a professional environment with real life consequences and standards and demands and people whose livelihood rely on you being this consistent and this methodical, is a lot to kind of grasp. And it's not for everyone, right? You look at Mathis Chrétien, he adapted to it perfectly, right? You look at, if you take a look at Abubakar Sissoko, when he came into the league from the Carabin, he became a pro like this, and he became invaluable in Ottawa. So there's certain elements and there's certain personalities that maybe make a professional easier, but now it's about making sure all these players that don't necessarily get it as easily transfer into that kind of realm sooner rather than later, and that's on the coaching staff. That's what they have to do now, and the leadership group.
Absolutely. Okay, so now we're gonna do as we did with the other ones, a rapid fire. Top performing player. Go ahead, Eli. Sorry,
I mean, it's Sean Rea, right?
I
Just
got
not
another
even-
one, just for variety's sake.
Yeah, me too. For variety's sake, I would choose Mathis Chrétien. I really loved his season as of right now, and
Laurent had a lot to say about Mathis Chrétien, by the way.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
can't wait to listen to it.
Yeah. And I'll say Loic Quimby. I mean, these are obvious choices because they were, I think, the three top players of FC Supra throughout the season.
Yeah.
When they've stayed healthy. But yeah, Sean Ray is just playing lights out. I mean, there's just no other comparison to it. But then we go to the next category. Which player has been the most disappointing?
I think we're gonna have the same player.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
I'm going to
sure.
say David Chouanière.
David Chouanière.
I don't know what he does, what he brings. I thought you had another one, Hadi.
No.
But it's well, okay. So if that's gonna be your choice, Hadi, and I'll let you explain why. I'll also say Abubakar Sissoko, that he's been a huge disappointment to me because with his experience, with the skill that he has and the minutes that he's had with FC Supra, he hasn't been at the level. He hasn't shown, and it's the same copy paste about David Chouanière, right? It's just you expect a lot more out of these players. It's not their first time being pros. They are supposed to, model by example. So that's my choice. Hadi, do you want to talk a little bit more why David Chouanière maybe?
Oh man, David Chouanière is the captain. He's supposed to be the player for this team. He's supposed to be the player coming from Forge that has won it all, the player that has gone very far in a CONCACAF competition. Not the Champions League, but the other one. I forgot the name. CONCACAF League, I think it was. No, League. It wasn't CONCACAF League. I think it was a CONCACAF League. I don't remember.
Whatever name they decide to use.
Yeah,
this year,
I think he arrived. He like they went until semifinals, even finals. I don't remember, but like he has a ton of experience, and he was the one we were supposed to build around. Like the team was supposed to be built around David Chouanière. And you know what? Right now, the team is built around Sean Rea.
Yeah.
And David Chouanière is just another one of those players that
He can be replaced.
He can be replaced easily. And for me, I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting a player that would give a lot of assists, be decisive, because he's in an offensive position. So at the end of the day, you need him to be decisive. I don't know if. Okay, I have an idea, and maybe I'll talk about it a bit later in the show. But I have an idea of how we could maybe reignite that fire inside of David Chouanière. But right now, he's the most disappointing for me.
Fair, Elias.
When you look at why it's disappointing, it's current output versus expectation, right?
Yeah,
and that's for me is Ziad Zinabzi.
Yes,
Because
also
when he's on and when he wants to, he's not only the best player on the team, he's one of the best players in the league when he's on and he's motivated and he's hungry. The problem is, and I don't know if this is a him thing, a coaching thing, I don't know what the circumstance is, but I don't see him on enough. I don't see the fire lit under him nearly enough. And the thing is, it happens every game, and he'll switch on and he will be decisive. He'll be effective. He'll lock down his forward on the other side, and he'll create 2 or 3 big chances in the span of like 5 minutes, and then he'll go back into cruise control. Right? So I don't know if it's a hunger. Again, it's tough to pinpoint where the motivation is lacking. But for me, we're talking about Sean Ray, we're talking about Louis Quimby, Mathis Chrétien, even Alessandro Biello, who's had a very good first full professional season. Ziad Zinabzi should be the best soccer player on this team. And he's not. And for me, that's why I'm a little bit disappointed. Yeah. I think some maybe has to do with all of the fact that his winger is changing constantly. There's rumors of Yantuali coming. Him and Yantuali on the same side would be horrifying
Yeah, rumors
because
from Maxim
that's
Coman.
an incredibly potent combination. But again, he, I feel like he's not always 100% there. And so my question now is, where is that 100% lacking? And how is it lacking? And so that's why for me, he's if we're adding a different name, my disappointment.
Yeah, it also depends on what the sales pitch was to get him there, right? Like what expectations they put on him to be on that team, and whether he was supposed to be a leader or just kind of joining the team for fun. I don't know. So what grade will we give Nick Razagi so far? That's a tough one to me. That's a tough one to give right now because, like I said, I'm very unclear as to what is going on in the field with him. Hadi, I'll start with you. What grade would you give Nick Razagi so far?
Elias was ready.
No, I'm not even ready. I just opened my mouth and I was thinking.
I don't know either. Like,
honestly, I'm between a C- and a D+. Like, I'm there. I think that it's new for him, right? To coach a professional team, right? So yes, he's had his downs, he's had his ups. I feel that he's trying the best he can right now.
Mhm.
But does he have also all the pieces in order to compete at a higher level? Like no striker, for example. No, Kwemi is not the typical striker. Um, I'm not sure he has all the pieces to be better than that. But at the same time, tactically, sometimes it's a bit harsh,
Yeah.
and hard to watch. So I would say, yeah, maybe C-, just because it's his first year in a professional club.
yeah, I mean, I would have the tendency to agree with that grade with C-, just because again, I think we're giving him a little bit of leniency here because it's his first pro year, but his playing style, his scheme has not always been very clear to me. And as I mentioned earlier, it does feel like they're very good offensively, but very poor defensively. I do think he continues, like he inserts that belief into the team to continue fighting to the last minute. Um, but there's also a lot of discipline issues in that team. A lot of egos that he's dealing with, a lot of maybe disappointed players, disappointed, former maybe big players in their clubs that now have to kind of, be humbled. But I mean, he's handling a lot. He's new to the whole thing. He knows a lot of these boys from CS Saint Laurent, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the competition is different. And for the second half of the season, we're going to talk about that in a second. There's a lot of work to be done, but so far, like I said, C-, just because it's his first professional year. Elias?
I'll give him a C plus. I agree with you guys on a lot of things. That's why it's not higher. I'll give him the extra boost because the way that he managed to get everyone on the same page tactically at the beginning of the season was impressive. Now he has had a hard time adapting and kind of evolving his tactics from that point. You have to stay in constant evolution, or else everyone's just going to figure out if you play the exact same way. People are going to plan for you, plan against you. There's too many good coaches in this league for that not to happen. But the way that he managed to get everyone tactically familiar with what he wanted and the responsibilities and everything like that quickly with zero baseline for a lot of these players. Again, a lot of these players know him from CS Saint Laurent, but the tactics from CS Saint Laurent are not the same. They're very different. So it's not like, I've been playing for Nick forever, so I know what his tactics are. No. You may know what his philosophies are, but the system itself still takes time to learn, right? So one thing I will give Nick Razai and the staff credit for is getting his philosophy across very coherently and very quickly. I always believe, and I read this somewhere, and it was very poignant that's why philosophies are infinitely more effective and important in football than systems. Because when you have a philosophy that everyone understands, the systems can change and everyone still knows what to do. Now, though, I think Nick Rizagi has to do a better job at changing his systems and getting people to understand them, because we're seeing some lapses. So I think that's why the grade is not higher. But how well he did at the start of the season, and the fact that he won Coach of the Month too, is noteworthy, and that's why I give him a C plus.
All right, and let's go ahead and finish this segment as we did with the other ones. Where does the team go from here, and what can they do to consider the second half of the season successful one? I'll start. They need to start winning more consistently, and they need to somehow find a way to help out Mathis Chrétien, get the best out of Abzi, get the best out of all their players, because right now Sean Ray is playing at a different level. But guys, what happens if Sean Ray isn't there for 1 or 2 games? What happens? I mean, does the offense collapse? Again, we talk about Abzi disappointing. We talk about Choinière disappointing. We can talk about maybe Charles Lagouste not having the best games either. Clément Bayat, all of the positions are kind of if some good, some bad. But I think they need to find that consistency. What works? Who are your starters? Because I still feel like we don't know who the starters are besides the 3 top players that we mentioned. And a success would be qualifying for the playoffs. That's it. After that, similar to the Canada men's national team, after that, do whatever you want. But qualify. That's the first thing in your first season. You can celebrate, go home happy, and give us hope for their second season. Hadi?
I think your expectations are a bit too high, in my opinion. So I would say like fight for a playoff spot. So if they finish 5th or even 6th, like close to the number 4 position, I'd be very happy for a first season. And with all the struggles that they had, and the fact that they're limiting themselves to a Quebecois only team, which is like a great idea, and I love it. But at the same time, it is limiting. Let's put it out there. Let's say it out loud. But also, I think they need to find a way to score goals in other ways than just long shots. And I want to see tap-ins. I want to see a poacher inside the box. I want to see those kinds of goals. We haven't seen them from Supra this year. And you cannot be a complete team if you don't have those goals, those scrappy goals, and those goals where you have a definite striker, and they're missing that number 9. And I talked about an idea. Choinière is clearly not working out on the wing. So why not put Kwemi on the wing and try Choinière up top? He's able to play as a striker. And I'm pretty sure that he's... Huh?
It's a false 9 more. But
yeah, but you can play as a poacher too. It's, if someone has the eye for goal, you can play as a poacher. He can play as a of course, I'm not going to give, great names as comparison, but you know what I mean? He's able to be in the box and just score goals. Like he doesn't always need to be with the ball into his feet and, and dribble and score. He is able to just wait for a ball and just put a tap in and, place himself and do nice positioning. So I don't know. I think they need to score a different variety of goals right now, because I feel that every goal that we're seeing from Supra is almost the same as what we've seen since the beginning of the season. So I think that's something that they need to do better. And of course, like I said, just finish between 4th and 6th place. I think I'll be very happy.
Let's go ahead and give us your take.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Hadi, and that at least be in playoff contention until the final day. I think that's one thing.
Yeah.
And secondly, I'm surprised you guys haven't mentioned it, it's make the semifinals of the Canadian Championship.
Yeah.
But honestly, for me, it's already great what they did.
It's great what they did, but we're talking about successful now, right? They're up 3-1. They go to Ottawa and they lose. If it was 1-1, even if they're up a goal and they go to Ottawa and they lose, that's fine. But when you play them off the pitch like that, you go with a 2-goal lead, I expect you to see the tie out and to make the semifinals. You're playing Forge in the semifinals. That's a different story, right? They're a machine, and it's a different it's a different set of challenges.
Yeah.
But making the semifinals is very reasonable. I think that will also make the season very successful, because on your first try, You're
Yeah,
one of
I
the top
agree.
4 teams in the country, like that, automatically. I think that's huge. And I think that's also a semifinal Canadian Championship game against Forge is going to draw a huge crowd. It's going to be great for the team. It's going to be great for the publicity. And it's also a nice chunk of change that you win in prize money. So I think there's a lot of really important reasons why they need to make the semifinal. And so besides that, again, kind of like the Roses, I don't have any qualitative things that we haven't already talked about, but I do have quantitative benchmarks I want them to make. I want them to be in playoff contention until the final day. If they don't make it, they don't make it. I understand. And I want them to make the semifinals of Canadian Championship. Those are the two things that I need them to do for it to be, wow, what a season, instead of just a good season, or an okay or an acceptable season. That is a good season. And so anything else is gravy. Honestly, they make the playoffs, they make the finals, then it's a great season. Then it's a historic season. Then you're throwing much nicer adjectives around. But good, that's the bare minimum for me. And honestly, especially, given the way they played in the first leg, if they don't qualify for the semifinals, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. So I don't know. I'm expecting a lot, but this team has showed me that sometimes, only occasion, they answer the bell and they are present when the lights are brightest. That being said, the lights are getting bright for me too because I've been staring at this lamp for the last 2.5 hours. So we're going to call it on episode 272 of the Balls Round podcast. Thank you, everyone who's toughed it out. It was a monster episode, but mid-season review, postseason review, previews, those are always big episodes. And so we thank you for sticking along with us. We hope you enjoyed the content. We hope you enjoyed the screaming, the shouting matches, and the hissy fits and the craziness from all three of us because, well, we love what we do. And we love that you guys enjoy it as well. So if you like what you hear, remember to tune in next week. The podcast is free. The podcast will always be free. However, if you're feeling a little bit generous, we do have a Patreon that you can subscribe to. It gives you lots of really cool goodies. It gives you access to the whole of our training notes. Gives you access to exclusive press interviews that we have for media availabilities. It gives you a sneak preview for all the interviews, including the Lahosima one, and a bunch more that we've got in the pipeline, as well as Op Watch, where we interview media from opposing teams and all kinds of other fantastic stuff. If you can't spare a couple of dollars and you can only subscribe for free, doesn't matter. It's super appreciated, and you still get a bunch of really awesome stuff that you can kind of check out in our Patreon. That being said, I am exhausted. Andy's exhausted. Heidi's exhausted. My brain is turning to mush, so I'm not going to throw any kind of long-winded exits. That is it for episode 272. We will see you next week for 200 episode. See, look, my brain's
Let's get it.
Now. Let's go. 273.
Are we going to see them next week? I'm not sure.
I hope so. Good night.